back at it again, and I have a lot to show you guys today, so we're not going to waste a whole lot of time. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And first, we're going to dive into the left's panic, too. Let's dive in.
The big picture takeaway from that, and I don't mean to be, again, too dark, as you said, on this, but it is not, if we are worried about the rise of authoritarianism in this country, we are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country, if we're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government, the leader who is trying to do that is part of that equation. But people wanting that is a much bigger part of that equation. Right. And the American electorate is made up of two major parties. One of those parties has been flirting with extremism on the ultra-right for a very long time. They've brought them in a way that they haven't been central to Republican electoral politics ever before, and I know because I've been studying this. But once you have radicalized one major party so that those are the preferences of the people who adhere to your party, the leader is interchangeable. And yes, Trumpism is sometimes what we call it. MAGA movement is probably a better way to do it. But there is an authoritarian movement inside Republican politics that isn't being bamboozled by Trump. They are pushing Trump to get more and more extreme, because the more extreme things he says, the more they adhere to him. And that is coming from a very large proportion of the American right that adheres to the Republican Party. And that's why this is a Republican Party problem more than it is the problem of one man and his leader.
That's left-wing media for you, but as always with these types of clips, there's more.
But, you know, I feel like the important sort of data point, and you know, Steve talks about it a lot, he's going to probably talk about it a little more tonight, is that these are white Christians. That this is a state that is overrepresented by white Christians that are going to participate in these caucuses, especially tonight. Earlier today, reached out to Robbie Jones, from the Public Religion Research Institute, knowing that we were going to talk about Iowa. And this is a hyper-evangelical white state. And he said the following to me: Iowa is about 61% white Christian. The country as a whole is approximately 41% white Christian. And in Iowa, we're talking about evangelical white Christians. And he said the following. Because I asked him, what do they get out of supporting Donald Trump? Because he keeps losing, he keeps delivering losses and losses and losses. And he said the following: they see themselves as the rightful inheritors of this country, and Trump has promised to give it back to them. All the things that we think about electability, about, you know, what are people gaming out, or none of that matters when you believe that God has given you this country, that it is yours, and that everyone who is not a white conservative Christian is a fraudulent American, is a less real American. Then you don't care about electability. You care about what God has given.
Your ears did not deceive you. Yeah, she tried to rail against white Christians. Yep, she said that on live TV. As a matter of fact, I just looked, and white Christians is actually trending currently. Check this out. Look at this. White Christians. And of course, it's her clip.
And you know, Steve.
Goodness gracious. Wow. Incredible. But even with all of their, you know, fear-mongering rhetoric, they couldn't stop the Don. He's back.
CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the Iowa caucuses. CNN can make this projection based on his overwhelming lead in our entrance poll of Iowa caucus goers and some initial votes that are coming in. The former president pulling off a huge early victory in his bid to return to the White House. Trump easily defeating his top opponents, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, who are now in a high-stakes fight for second place. Let's go to Aaron Burnett at the panel. Aaron, not a surprise, but still.
High stakes fight for second place. Easily defeated. The only question now is who's going to drop out first? Who do y'all think will drop out first? Let me know in the comment section, because the order went Trump, DeSantis. Trump won by like 38 points. It was something crazy. I think DeSantis was at like 22. Trump was like just above 50. You had Nikki Haley down at like 19, 20. And then you had Vivek at like 7 or 8. And then Asa Hutchinson was in there, who I completely forgot about. Who's that? But yeah. So who's going to drop out first between Nikki and Ron DeSantis? Who's going to be the one to drop out? Let me know.
Risk, okay?
Poll, yeah.
You only get out when you lose, when you don't have the money to stay in, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
They can stay in with the money, but then you have the humiliation facing you. If you're Ron DeSantis, you get smoked in Iowa, and then you get smoked in New Hampshire. You have to ask yourself, how many more times do I want to get smoked? If you're Nikki Haley, you could say, I did pretty good in Iowa, right? And then you say, oh, maybe she even does better in New Hampshire. Then she loses in her home state. You can stay in, guys, but you're about ready to take a pretty humiliating fall. It's why Jeb Bush got out. It's why these other people got out before they were humiliated in
Joe
states where they're
Biden
supposed
is
to
the
do
only
well.
one that's had a humiliating fall thus far.
Well, he falls a lot.
Hey, I agree with her. Joe has definitely had a humiliating fall. Goodness gracious. But yeah, one thing that I found interesting about this entire situation was how they tried to convince us that there was a good reason as to why they didn't want to air Trump's speech. Check this out.
I'm sorry, I just have to do a little bit.
Hold on, let me rewind it back just a little bit. Start it.
I'm sorry, I just have to do a little bit of business just for a second. At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory speech. We will keep an eye on that as it happens. We will let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is not out of spite. It is not a decision that we relish. It is a decision that we regularly revisit.
No, you don't. Stop it with the nonsense. She didn't even want to say his name. She said the projected winner.
And honestly, earnestly, it is not an easy decision, but there is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. That is a fundamental truth of our business and who we are. And so his remarks tonight will not air here live. We will monitor them and let you know about any news that he makes. Stephanie interrupted.
I was just saying, I believe that's why J.B. Pritzker is not afraid or not answering Joyce Gossett question. Because
yeah, so they see themselves as the controllers, and they get to tell us what we're allowed to see and what we're not allowed not to see. But we're supposed to believe Trump is the dictator and the fascist and the authoritarian. Trump believes in freedom. Hey, if you want to watch CNN, go by all means, go ahead. If you want to watch MSNBC, by all means, go ahead. But it's always the left that chooses to try to control us. Interesting how that works. They are exactly what they accuse Trump of doing and being.
And to all of the people standing behind me and all of the people in this room and so many great politicians and great dignitaries and friends, I just want to thank you all. This is a very special night. And this is the first, because the big night is going to be in November when we take back our country, and truly we do make our country great again. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah.
Great honor. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yes, this is just the beginning. This is just the first. The big one. Soon to come. Soon to come. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Of course, leftist media continued on with their crazy, talking points about just anything and everything that has nothing to do with anything. And here's one of them that I'm going to respond to. Check it out.
New Hampshire.
And I think to the point that you made, Steph, I mean, it's the elephant in the room. She's still a brown lady that's got to try to win in a party that is deeply anti-immigrant and which accepts the notion that you can say immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. She's
talking about Nikki Haley.
Getting, birthered by Donald Trump. And I don't care how much the donor class likes her, which will ramp up a lot, the better she does in New Hampshire. So it's still a challenge. I don't see how she becomes the nominee of that party with Donald Trump still around. I can't picture it happening. Maybe it could happen. Ron DeSantis' only argument for staying in it is he's the white guy, that he can still make the appeal to white people.
Yeah. Well, Joy Reid, that's not why Nikki lost. I've become somewhat popular, right, in the Republican Party, okay? Now, granted, I'm not like the biggest guy around there, but last time I checked, Joy Reid, I'm black. I know your party leader, your leader, Joe Biden. He would say that I'm not black, which I find a little racist, but, I'm just saying. So, no, it has nothing to do with Nikki Haley's skin color. It has everything to do with stuff like this, though.
DeSantis is hitting you for claiming the retirement age is, quote, way, way too low.
I have never once said that. But what we do know is 65 is way too low, and we need to increase that. We need to do it according to life expectancy.
I never once said Hillary Clinton was an inspiration.
I often say that the reason I got into politics was because of Hillary Clinton.
I never said government should go and require anyone's name.
A huge issue that I'll deal with as soon as I get there is social media. They need to verify every single person on their outlet, and I want it by name.
Yeah. And there's more, right? There's a whole lot more that comes with that. I mean, you could talk about the oh, goodness gracious. You could talk about the whole Civil War comment, like not being able to answer a simple question. I mean, and it goes on and on. So that is one of the reasons, or some of the reasons, why we do not support Nikki Haley. And here is another.
The money train is still flowing and going. Are you worried, though?
Thank you, Neil, for having me, and Happy New Year. I didn't. We actually have a large fundraiser on the 30th of January at a major apartment in New York City, where we're raising a tremendous amount of money. Believe it or not, a number of it coming from Democrats.
Oh, so Nikki Haley is garnering her support not from Republicans, but from Democrats. Didn't we say that before? Sure did. So there you go. Those are some reasons why we do not support Nikki Haley. Okay, we understand exactly who she is. She's not one of us. She's actually one of you. And we see right through it. We know what's happening. We see it. We hear it. You're trying to tell us, as we're looking at our own grass that is green, and you're telling us that it's purple. And we don't believe you. We don't believe you. And also, I mean, she's not really that great at... I'll just roll the tape. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. This is right after she figured out that she was in third place. Check it out.
I can safely say tonight, Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race. Tonight, I will be back in the great state of New Hampshire. And the question before Americans is now very clear. Do you want more of the same? Or do you want a new generation of conservative leadership?
Yeah, you you can clearly tell that was a prepared speech that she just went up there and gave without actually thinking about what she was saying. That's a problem for me. That's a major problem for me. You just won third place, and you said the Republican Party has officially made it a two-person race. So Trump and DeSantis? I'm confused. Like, this was a speech. No, this is just my personal opinion, okay? This is how I believe this went down. She truly believed that she was going to get second place. She truly believed that. And her speechwriters believed it as well. So they wrote that speech as if she came in second place. And she didn't edit it. Like that's easy to do while you're up there. I mean, you could literally just freestyle that little bit. You could literally just freestyle that little bit and make it sound good. But you said exactly what the speech already. The Republican two-person race. You came in third, ma'am. I don't know if you know. Am I tweaking? That looks like third to me. Now, granted, it's a close third, but that's still third. I don't know what's going on here. Y'all let me know. But I have a problem with that. So, yet again, another reason why we do not rock with Nikki Haley.
As the next president of the United States, I am going to get the job done for this country. I am not.
I just wanted to play that clip because I thought it was funny. As the next president of the United States, I will not, even though you just got beat by like 40 points. Okay, it wasn't quite 40, all right? But still. Trump literally broke a record against you. And you're out here giving speeches about becoming the next president of the United States. Now, we do have to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, who, as you guys saw, came in a distant fourth place. Now, I was picking Ramaswamy over Nikki and Ron DeSantis, but Ramaswamy had his questions as well. And I've made videos on them and talked about them. But check this clip out.
Now, this is a campaign founded on speaking the truth. Not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. Not just to the Democrats, but to our own side. And not just to other campaigns and candidacies, but to ours. And so I will stick to the truth tonight. The first hard truth, and this one's hard for me. I got to admit this. But we've looked at it every which way, and I think it is true that we did not achieve the surprise that we wanted to deliver tonight. And I think that that's just a hard fact that we're going to have to accept as a campaign. And the question then is, what do we do that is right for our country? And so Purv and I, we actually didn't make this contingency plan before everybody told us to. We said, no, we're not doing that. But we talked about it tonight. We took a little bit of time in our apartment in Des Moines before coming here to make some hard choices. And I wanted to make a couple of announcements tonight to get the business out of the way. And then I want to tell you where we're going. As of this moment, we are going to suspend this presidential campaign. And this is going to have to be, there is no path for me to be the next president absent things that we don't want to see happen in this country. And I think that I am very worried for our country. I think we are skating on thin ice as a nation. We have done everything in our part to make, and done, every one of us in this room has done our part to save this country. And I am so proud of every one of you who have lifted us up. But we're a campaign founded on the truth. And so that's why we've made that decision today. And I'm also making the decision that this has to be an America First candidate in that White House. As I've said since the beginning, there are two America First candidates in this race. And earlier tonight, I called Donald Trump to tell him that I congratulated him on his victory, And now going forward, he will have my full endorsement for the presidency. And I think we're going to do the right thing for this country. And so I'm going to ask you to follow me in taking our America First movement to the next level. It did not begin in 2016. It began in 1776.
So, yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy has officially dropped out of the presidential race, which makes sense. You know, the guy was way back. He was a distant fourth. It's not like he was close. You know what I mean? It's not like he was at 15%, Nikki Haley 19, and Ron DeSantis 20 or something like that. Like, no, he was like way down at 7. So that makes sense. And he officially endorsed Donald Trump. Now, I want to play this one last clip before I let you guys go because it is absolutely hilarious and Trump derangement to the absolute fullest extent. But hey, I'm loving it. Making him angry. It's a beautiful thing. The Don. And I know some of you are going to say he never left, but, you know, it just sounds good to say the Don. He's back.
Interference and, you know, all the things that Trump is actually accused of. People should be reminded of it. I mean, this weekend, I even forgot. It was the 3-year anniversary of his second impeachment. Never mentioned. The only reason why I remembered is because it popped up on my Facebook on this day. I had pictures of the newspaper covers of Trump impeached again for January 6th. No mention of that. That's malpractice, in my opinion, because if the American people aren't reminded of who this motherfucker is, it gets normalized. And then we have what we have, where millions of people think it's okay to vote for Donald Trump. And
millions of people think it's okay to vote for Donald. So what you're saying is you don't believe in democracy. You believe in trying to control people. And it's funny that that kind of rhetoric always comes from Democrats, but Republicans are the ones that are destroying democracy. Interesting how that works. And also, we don't care about impeachments. Come on now. What? I'm just, what? What are we talking about? And it's malpractice to not remind us of J6. I think we were reminded. We just don't care. Don't care. He's coming back. Let me tell you something, young lady. I don't know who you are, but he's coming back, whether you like it or not. Have a good one. Peace and love. I'm out.